He turned slightly. Sometimes. You were still asleep. She sat down, still half lost. He poured her a cup of coffee. I wasn't sure how you take it. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't dramatic. But somehow, it mattered. On the Velvet Story, love doesn't crash in like thunder. It starts with a scarf. A note. A bite of mochi shared in a quiet kitchen. A knot between strangers continues, where the silence between two people becomes a language of its own. Where distance narrows, not with confessions, but with presence. Chapters 3 through 6 are not about falling in love, they're about becoming ready to. Stay close. Watch quietly. And feel the warmth bloom slowly, like spring. Chapter 3. The first morning the wedding was quiet. Simple kimonos, soft music, only family and a few close friends. Koku barely remembered the ceremony itself, just the feel of Ren's hand when he placed the ring on her finger, cool but steady. He didn't smile, but he didn't look cold either. It was the kind of day that should have felt like a dream. But to Koku, it felt like standing in the middle of someone else's life. They moved into a small house Ren's family owned, minimalist, clean, and far too quiet. White walls. Neutral tones. Like it was waiting to be lived in. Ren had already placed her things in one of the bedrooms. I wasn't sure if you wanted to share a room, he said as they stepped in. Koku blinked. Off. Ah. Thank you. He looked calm, as always. We can adjust later if you want. She nodded, suddenly unsure of everything. Yeah. Okay. That night, Koku lay in bed, staring at the unfamiliar ceiling, curled under an unfamiliar blanket. Married. She was married. To a man she still didn't really know. She could hear Ren's footsteps faintly in the hallway. The quiet sound of water running in the kitchen. The gentle click of a door. Everything felt so careful. Like they were walking through a museum. She turned over and pulled the blanket to her chin. Was this really her new life? The next morning, she woke up to the smell of coffee and miso soup. Koku sat up, hair tousled, eyes half closed. For a second she forgot where she was. Then it hit her. New house. New bed. New husband. She padded out into the hallway, still in her pajamas. Ren stood in the kitchen, neatly dressed, flipping tamagoyaki with practiced hands. You cook? She asked, surprised. He turned slightly. Sometimes. You were still asleep. She looked around, feeling awkward. I could have helped, it's fine. You can do it next time. He said it casually. Not expecting, not demanding. Just sharing. Koku sat at the table, still trying to wrap her head around it. He poured coffee into 2 mugs. Placed one in front of her. I wasn't sure how you take it. She took a sip. Black. Bitter. Her face scrunched unconsciously. Ren noticed. Milk and sugar? She nodded. He stood, grabbed the items from the counter, and gently placed them beside her. Not a word. Just observing and adjusting. Something tightened in her chest. They ate quietly. But it wasn't tense. Just unfamiliar. To people learning how to exist in the same space. Ren didn't try to fill the silence. Koku didn't feel pressured to speak. It was strangely comfortable. And for the first time since the wedding, she felt okay. Later that afternoon, She was unpacking books in the living room when she heard soft footsteps behind her. Ren stood at the doorway, watching. "You like romance novels?" he asked, eyeing the titles. She blushed a little. "Yeah." "Don't laugh." "I'm not." He picked one up, turned it over. "This one looks dramatic." Koku snatched it back, flustered. "It is. But the characters grow into love. That's what I like." Ren didn't tease. He nodded, thoughtful. "That makes sense." He stepped back. "Let me know if you want help organizing the shelves." Koku blinked at his retreating figure. He didn't hover. He didn't push. He just left space. And slowly, it was making her want to fill it. That night, they met in the kitchen again. Both reaching for the kettle at the same time. Their hands brushed. Koku froze. Ren stepped back immediately. "Sorry." "No, it's okay," she said, a little too quickly. He gave her a small nod, then hesitated. "Do you want to eat together tonight?" "I was going to order something." Koku smiled faintly. "Sure. But only if I pick the dessert." He looked amused, just barely. "Deal." With someone who might not show his heart easily, but might be willing to share it, slowly. If she stayed. If she tried. Chapter 4, The Quiet Shift. It started with a scarf. A simple, grey scarf left on the back of the kitchen chair. Koku noticed it on a windy morning before heading out for groceries. She picked it up, soft wool between her fingers. It had a faint, clean scent. Like Ren. Without thinking, she folded it and placed it by the door with a small note, "Don't forget this. It's cold today." Ren found it a few minutes later. He paused at the note, reading the words twice, even though they were simple. His thumb lingered on the paper before folding it carefully and slipping it into his coat pocket. He didn't know why he kept it. But he did. The day passed quietly. They texted once. Koku asked if he wanted curry for dinner. He replied with a thumbs-up emoji. She sent back a laughing cat sticker. He stared at it longer than necessary. That evening, Koku was humming softly in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, hands covered in flour. She was making mochi, her favorite. Ren stood silently by the entrance, watching. Her hair was messy, tied with a clip. There was flour on her cheek. She looked nothing like the calm, poised bride everyone had seen on the wedding day. She looked real. "Do you want to try one?" she asked without looking, as if she sensed him. He blinked, caught. "Is it safe?" She turned and smirked. "Only if you trust me." He stepped forward, took a small bite. Warm. Soft. A little too sweet. "It's good," he said, and meant it. Koku raised an eyebrow. That was very convincing. He chuckled, and the sound surprised them both. It was soft. Brief. But real. Koku stared at him for a second, then looked away, cheeks faintly pink. That night, after she went to bed, Ren stood in the living room, lights off. He looked at the scarf on the hook, the folded note tucked in his coat. And something stirred in him. She didn't smile often. But when she did, it felt earned. She wasn't warm like a summer day, she was like early spring. Cold air, blue skies, and tiny blossoms blooming slowly. And he found himself waiting for those moments more than he expected. Over the next few days, things shifted. Barely. But enough. Ren started making 2 cups of coffee in the morning automatically. He adjusted the air conditioner because he remembered she liked it 2 degrees warmer. He stopped working late, not because he had to, but because he wanted to eat dinner with her. He didn't say anything about it. He just stayed and watched and listened and felt something new bloom in his quiet chest. Then one night, it happened. Coco fell asleep on the couch, a book in her lap. The TV hummed low in the background. Ren walked in to find her curled against a cushion, breathing soft and even. He knelt beside her, hesitating. A strand of hair had fallen across her cheek. He lifted his hand, then paused. He didn't touch her. He just sat there, looking. His heart felt heavier than usual. But not in a bad way. He didn't understand it fully. But he didn't want to look away. Later, she woke up and found a blanket draped over her shoulders. No note. But she smiled anyway. Chapter 5, The Wrong Assumption. It was a normal afternoon. The kind where clouds hang low but don't rain, and the air feels lazy. Coco sat on the couch, flipping through her phone, half watching a drama. She wasn't paying much attention, until a message popped up from a name she hadn't seen in a while. Kato-san, heard you got married. Didn't think you'd be the type for an arranged one, haha. Coffee sometime? Just to catch up. Coco blinked. Kato. Her senior from university. He used to tease her during late-night study sessions. It had never been romantic, but people always assumed things. Especially her classmates. She stared at the message. It was probably nothing. But still. She didn't reply. Ren came home earlier than usual that day. The air still smelled of city wine when he walked in, loosening his tie. You're back early, Coco said, glancing up. They cancelled a meeting. He paused, noticing her expression. Everything all right? MMHM. Just someone I used to know messaged me. She didn't realize she sounded distant. Ren walked over and set his bag down. A friend. Coco hesitated. Kind of. University senior. She saw it. The pause. So slight, but unmistakable. Ren's jaw didn't tighten, but his eyes flickered, then steadied. He nodded once. I see. That was all he said. That evening was quiet. Too quiet. Ren didn't bring his laptop out like usual. He just sat on the balcony, nursing a cup of tea, staring at the dusky sky. Coco watched from inside, confused. Why did it feel like something had shifted? Later, while she washed the dishes, Ren spoke from behind her. Are you going to reply? She turned slightly. Huh. To the message, he said, voice unreadable. The senior. Coco wiped her hands. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in years. Ren nodded, then said quietly, you don't owe me an explanation. We're not. He didn't finish. Coco looked at him, something tugging at her. Ren, she said, and he looked at her. I'm not interested in anyone else. I'm just not ready to feel anything yet. She didn't know why she said it. Maybe because of the way he looked at her, half guarded, half silent. Ren lowered his gaze. I understand. And he meant it. But something in him still tightened. He didn't like the thought of someone else knowing how she laughed, or how she looked when she was thinking too hard, lip caught between her teeth. That night, Coco found her phone on the kitchen table with a new notification. Ren had left a sticky note on it. If someone makes you uncomfortable, even a little, you can block them. You don't have to be polite. She stared at it. Her heart moved just slightly. He wasn't asking her not to reply. He was protecting her, in his quiet, distant way. And suddenly, her chest felt a little warmer. The next day, she sent Kato a short, polite decline. Then turned her phone face down and went to make Ren's favorite miso soup. Chapter 6. A window into him. The rain began sometime after midnight. Soft. Constant. Like the world was breathing slower. Koku stood by the window, a blanket around her shoulders, holding a warm cup of tea. The house felt still. Even the ticking clock seemed gentler. She didn't know what woke her, only that she couldn't sleep. Then she noticed light under the study door. Ren was still awake. She knocked lightly. No response. She pushed the door open just a little. Ren. He was sitting at his desk, facing away from the door, a file open in front of him, but he wasn't reading it. His phone sat beside him, unlocked. On the screen, a photo. Old. Two boys and a smiling woman standing under a cherry blossom tree. One of the boys was clearly Ren. Koku blinked, surprised. She'd never seen that expression on his face before, quite lost, like his mind had gone far away. Sorry, she said softly. I didn't mean to interrupt. Ren turned, startled. Then quickly locked the phone. It's fine, he murmured. But something in his voice cracked a little. Koku hesitated. Was that your family? He nodded slowly. My mother. And my older brother. She stepped in quietly, sitting on the edge of the desk. You've never mentioned them. Ren was silent for a moment. Then, quietly, she passed away 3 years ago. Heart condition. My brother works overseas. I don't see him often. Koku's eyes softened. Ren looked at his hands. She wanted to see me married. She always said I was too quiet. That no one would fall for a man who doesn't know how to speak. Koku blinked, caught off guard. Ren chuckled faintly, dry, almost bitter. She thought love had to be loud. That if you didn't say it out loud, it didn't count. He looked at her then. Really looked. But I think, some things are loud even when they're silent. The rain fell harder outside. Koku didn't know what to say. But her chest felt tight. Not because of what he said, but because of the way he said it. So open. So unlike him. And he'd shared it with her. She reached out and gently set her hand beside his on the desk. She didn't touch him. Just sat there. Close enough. They didn't say anything more that night. But the silence between them didn't feel empty anymore. It felt like something blooming. Very slowly. Very quietly. But undeniably there. He didn't touch her. He just stood there. Quiet. Steady. And for the first time, he didn't want to look away. Some love stories don't need declarations. Just the weight of a gaze. The softness of a gesture. The safety of a shared silence. You've just heard chapters 3 to 6 of A Knot Between Strangers. If it moved you, even a little, stay with us. Because the quietest stories often become the loudest in our hearts. Subscribe to the Velvet Story for more slow burn warmth, quiet love, and characters who feel achingly real. Until next time, let the silence speak.